Hello, I'm Aurélie. It's the evening now in Prague, and although it's not the best lightning, I wanted to share a little wisdom thought, maybe a wise thought that I had during my shower. Um, the phrase said in my head something along the lines of, I'm grateful for the pain. And the reason why I'm grateful for the pain is that pain was my first teacher and the first thing that brought me to doing some work to get to know myself. When I was 18, I started having chronic pain, especially digestive issues and stomach pain. Also, issues in my womb area. And I had not really put attention on my health at that time. And I had not really given attention to my mental health or better, my emotional health. Because the main root of ailments, of any sickness, is emotional. And I didn't know that at that time. So it took me a long time to, after so much research, realize that the main root cause of my pain and my symptoms was not from physical reasons, was not coming from physical things. Mostly it was coming from emotional things and stress that had not been processed and emotions that had not been expressed. So of course there was an element around food and the way that I was feeding myself, but mostly like my internal state was the main reason why I was having all those health issues. And it took me a few years, it took me about 3 years to start realizing that one of the main areas I had to focus on was my mind and my emotions. And today was coming back to me because I realized that as humans, it takes a lot of pain before we start making a change. We're very lazy. Like, we don't really want the best for ourselves unless we are kind of threatened by immense amounts of pain. We have a threshold, and depending on who we are, it can be low or high. It depends on how numb we are, how sensitive we are. And I was lucky enough that I'm very, very, very sensitive. And I just could not live looking for external solutions to my pain forever. I had to find another way. And it presented itself to me. I started yoga in 2014. And pretty quickly afterwards, I discovered meditation. 2015, I started practicing every single day. And I saw immediate results on my well-being. And I started noticing all the lies that I had been telling myself. And I started shifting, my path started shifting. I was at a business school at the time. I was doing music on the side. And I can tell you, about a year after starting meditation, I understood that my projects would certainly revolve more around art and yeah, that I was not necessarily in the right place at a business school. Even though, later on I realized also that it can be an advantage to have some basics around business, but that's another story. So grateful for the pain, because the pain is what brought me to be more conscious. And pain is asking for us to listen. It's asking for us to be more humble, to be more open to new information. It's asking us to surrender, basically. And we're at a day and age where there's so much comfort, there's so many tools, so many products that are supposed to help alleviate pain and basically avoid any type of pain, that we have become very afraid of feeling our own pain, and we have developed so many strategies to do that instead of diving into that pain and getting some precious information from it. So I feel grateful for the pain, because somehow I understood pretty early on that there was no escape. And there was a particular time in 2019 when I got exhausted, and for 3 months I was in bed because I could not walk. I was having so much vertigo and nausea that it was impossible for me to walk without basically holding on to somebody else. During those 3 months, I really had to surrender and to feel my pain. And sometimes, that period, sometimes I'm reminded of it, sometimes I'm having intense periods of pain again in my body, and it's like a reminder of, oh, maybe you haven't been listening to the smaller pains before that, and now you're getting big pain, so you can get a big lesson. But what if we took the habit of being aware every single day of the small pain? What if we took some time to listen to our small pains daily, instead of waiting, for this build up to explode, and then saying, oh yeah, it's true, I need to surrender, it's true, I need to trust, I need to rest, I need to relax, I need to take care of myself. What if we took care of our needs every day as a habit, as an act of love and respect for ourselves? What if we were not as scared of the little pains that come every single day? And what if we took them as part of our experience? Grateful for the pain. Grateful for the pain because it brings me into my most vulnerable, raw, true self. Because it brings me back to my body, to my human existence. Drives me away from all the illusions, the things in my head. And not to say that dreams are not important, they are, but they can become ways to escape the present moment, always looking for the next thing, what's in the future, what's going to be amazing about the future. Okay, great, but what about now? How am I taking care of myself and of my pain now so that the future can be based on this care, on this self-love? What about now? That's a great question also. What about now? Yesterday I was having a conversation with someone, and he was kind of discouraged about a project that he's been working on for 2 years, and it's a community project, and it felt like for him like it was over, or like he had to give up because it didn't work out. And I was really asking him, like, what about now? Is it still alive in you? Do you still want to build this community? And if so, if you still want to do so, what do you need now in order to be able to continue, go on, even though you haven't had the results you were expecting? What about now? Maybe you need some rest. Maybe you need to be gentle with yourself. I mean, maybe you need a break from all the research, all the building. Maybe you need to just take a little bit of distance for a few days or a few weeks, and then you can get back at it, because if it's really your soul project, if it's what your soul needs, if it's what your soul desires, then it will just come up again and again, so you won't have a choice but to follow it. And sometimes, yeah, we just have to ask ourselves, like, what about now? What about now? When we are in doubt, when we are worried about the future, so much in our heads, while our bodies are asking us for attention, for love, for silence, for softness. So what about now? That's my question for you guys for today. I'm wanting to start sharing more often here. I haven't been very present because we are transitioning from a French-only channel to a channel where I'm gonna mainly share in English, and it's a pretty big move for me. So it's vulnerable, but I wanna be sharing more, and you will see me more often sharing little pieces of wisdom, little pieces of thought that I had under the shower. And I also want to bring you along with me on my next adventures. So you'll be seeing more of me, and I hope that we can have conversations through the comments. And yeah, thank you for being here. See you.